prices are down and the economy's doing great. Just kidding. Prices are up, jobs are down, and the economy is not doing good at all, thanks to Donald Trump and his tariffs.
People are talking about groceries, they're talking about gas. Well, guess what? 9 months later, people are still talking about groceries, they're still talking about gas.
They're not talking about gas. Gas is at a 4-year low.
It depends on what part of the country you're in. But
yeah,
they're talking
California,
about...
It's really high, but everywhere else...
But they are also talking about eggs. They are talking about the cost. Eggs are not low.
Eggs are low.
Have you been to a grocery store around here?
His Rolex probably.
I mean, eggs are not low.
I'm going to fact check you after the show, and you're going to be surprised.
$8.99 for eggs is not low.
Well, if Scott Jennings on CNN says the prices aren't up, then they aren't up. Does this guy even shop for eggs? Has he been to a grocery store? I've been to a grocery store. Everything is more expensive, Scott Jennings. Maybe you got a thing or two that's doing better. But overall, everything's more expensive. Don't believe me? Let's look at the polls.
A new poll finds about 70% of Americans say groceries are more expensive now than they were a year ago. And about 60% of them are blaming President Trump.
That's Fox News. Fox News usually supports Trump. They're saying that people are blaming Trump, and they're right for it. And here's the CEO of a business who's suffering.
Have these tariffs been so good for your business?
Oh, definitely not. Our expense on IEEPA tariffs in 24 was $0, and our expected cash expense this year will be $14 million, and I expect next year $14 million, and I expect that the cost next year will double or more, but of course, who knows what the rates will settle down at. We're behaving the way someone would behave if they had a sudden and irreversible expense of $14 million. We're hiring fewer people, we're spending less money on CapEx, we're developing fewer products, we're reducing our marketing spend. It's bad for business because it's diverting us from exercising our business judgment, which is how we got this far and what we want to do going forward.
There you have it. There's a business owner whose expense on tariffs was $0 the previous year, and this past year, $14 million. Even the reporter goes, what?
14 million, and I expect next year.
We're in shock because it's not helping the economy. He's developing less products. He's hiring less people. There's more uncertainty. And he's not the only one. Big companies suffering.
Despite reporting better than expected U.S. same-store sales growth of 2.4% for the third quarter, the fast food giant CEO Chris Kempczinski is still warning of a pullback in spending from low-income diners, even though it's still offering extra value meals, which accounted for 30% of U.S. transactions. And he's not the only one sounding the alarm. Mediterranean restaurant chain Cava did cut its full-year forecast for same-store sales growth to a range of 3 to 4%, below the previous range of 4 to 6%. Cava says younger diners between the ages of 25 and 34 years old are visiting its restaurants less frequently as well, as that demographic faces higher costs and higher unemployment rates.
McDonald's, the cheap alternative, is saying that we are going to be too expensive for low-income people to buy stuff from us. Cava is saying we're going to be too expensive for people that are younger to buy stuff from us because everybody is suffering under Donald Trump's stupid tariffs. They're stupid tariffs. We all know it. We see it with our own eyes. He campaigned on lowering costs. He said, day one, I'm going to make everything lower. Things are going to be better. He's such a dum-dum. He didn't have to do tariffs because what was happening was coming out of the inflation that we had from COVID, slowly under Joe Biden, it was slowly coming down. If Donald Trump had just won the presidency and come in and continue to do some of the things to lower prices, we would be seeing lower prices. But he stupidly implemented tariffs. And we gotta wonder, why did he implement tariffs? I will tell you why he implemented tariffs. He implemented tariffs so that he could show that there's money coming into the government from these tariffs. They actually do bring in money to the government. And he also brought in Elon Musk, and they did Doge. They cut jobs to show that they're saving money. All of that so they could pass that big, beautiful bill that gave all the billionaires tax breaks. That was all it was. It's all a show. It's all a show for them to be able to say, look at how much money we're bringing in. Look at how much money we saved. And the truth is, they're not bringing in enough to help at all in the long run. And they didn't cut enough to help at all in the long run. And the truth is, we end up paying. Donald Trump from day one has insisted we won't pay for the tariffs. China will pay for the tariffs. These other countries will pay for the tariffs. It's just simple economics. If you're going to put tariffs on a country and we're still going to import their products, well then, like we saw that toy maker, they're going to end up paying the cost. And then they can suck up the cost a little bit, but eventually they're going to pass that cost off to us. And we all see it. And we see the uncertainty that it causes. The fact that Donald Trump was shocked that the jobs had gone down, the number of jobs had gone down, and he fired that lady who was in charge of giving the jobs numbers is just insane. Because he's the one who fired all those people using Doge. He's the one who is deporting all the other immigrants who are working. He's the one who passed these tariffs that makes it hard for small businesses or businesses in general to project what to do. Should we hire? Should we not hire? Is it going to be a good quarter? Is it not going to be a good quarter? He has put so much chaos into the economy, and we saw who benefited from it. Remember when he first announced the tariffs and the stock market took a nosedive, and then 2 days later he did his Trump always chickens out taco, and he pulled back on the tariffs, and the stock market took off. Famously, you've got Charles Schwab. From Charles Schwab, the guy was in the Oval Office, and Donald Trump had cameras around. He goes, people are doing great. Look, this guy made $2 billion in the stock market from this tariff stuff. That's because when the stocks crashed, people that had money bought these stocks at a low price and then were able to sell it again. It's insider trading. If we had independent agencies right now looking into this stuff, you would see that Donald Trump is basically engaging in insider trading. Unfortunately, what he has is loyalists in all of the agencies. No one's going to investigate him. He's getting away with it. And you and I are the ones paying for it because we all know with our own eyes. We don't need Scott Jennings to tell us if the prices are up or down. We know that the cost of electricity has gone up. The cost of meat has gone up. The cost of coffee has gone up. Avocados, tequila, you name it. Because he's going around putting tariffs on everybody. And those companies slowly are going to put those increased prices on us. Remember, Amazon was going to do a thing where they were going to indicate when you bought a product from Amazon, they were going to indicate how much more expensive it's become from the tariffs. And Donald Trump called Jeff Bezos and said, don't do that. So Bezos took that off. So it's some big scam that they're running because you got to wonder, why are they running this? They're running this because Donald Trump is not a good businessman. He really is a dumb businessman. If you don't believe me, just look at his record. He did not make the money that got him started. His father made money, gave it to him. He took that money, opened up a bunch of casinos, bankrupted casinos. Who bankrupts casinos? Donald Trump. Was down and out, and then Mark Burnett of The Apprentice came along and made him the host of The Apprentice, and he made like $250 million doing that, and he was back up again. And then he basically bamboozled a big portion of the country to think that he is a good businessman and that he can run this country. And we're seeing he's running it, but he's running it into the ground. That's what he's doing. The tariffs are hurting everybody. We're feeling it. We're all feeling it. There's really very few people that are not suffering because of these tariffs. And we're seeing that the wealth disparity is getting bigger and bigger. You know who's doing good with the tariffs? Billionaires. Elon Musk, famously, when the tariffs were going to start taking hold, Elon Musk was saying, we're going to have to tighten our belt a little bit. We have to tighten our belt. It's easy to tighten your belt when your belt has $300 billion in it. It's easy to tighten that belt. But when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't tighten the belt. You can't last that long. And they're basically creating an economy that's going to need government funding and help. And meanwhile, they're cutting all that government funding. They say, we don't want to be a socialist state. Well, you're creating a country that's going to need to have socialist programs. You're going to need to give health insurance for free to people. You're going to have to feed people because people are losing their jobs. Companies aren't hiring. And then we have, on top of that, we have AI and big tech that's, creating robots. They just laid off a bunch of people from Amazon. They've been laying off people left and right from different companies. And a lot of that is technology driven. So rather than concentrating on how do we pivot our workforce into a futuristic workforce where people can work and actually contribute to society, what he did instead of that was implement these stupid tariffs that he's had on his mind since the 80s. Back in the 80s, he thought that the Japanese were beating us in the economic sense, and he was saying that we should put tariffs, huge tariffs on Japan. This is back then. He's been excited about tariffs for 40 years. And then he found Peter Navarro. You guys know Peter Navarro. He's the guy who's his advisor, who's also another tariff hawk. And Peter Navarro wrote a book that was against China. And in it, he quoted a scientist, an economist, who said that tariffs are good. And that scientist's name was an anagram of his own name, Peter Navarro. Yeah, Ron Vera was the name of this economist. Ron Vera is not a real person. He's a fake economist who in a book said tariffs are going to be good. Donald Trump took that guy, used his advice, and here we are. There's also that commercial that came out with Canada took out this commercial. The Ontario the province of Ontario took out a commercial where Ronald Reagan was saying tariffs are bad, and that upset Donald Trump. So Donald Trump basically, I think, put more tariffs on Canada. It's really ridiculous, and it's really bad for the economy. It's bad for all of us, and we're all suffering. And guess who's getting rich besides the billionaire friends? He himself and his family. They have gained hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, by starting up these silly crypto programs they've got now, by taking in money on dinners. They're getting people to come to the White House and to Mar-a-Lago, and they're paying millions of dollars to have dinner with Donald Trump. So, guys, we are being scammed. This is the biggest scam. You know how you get those texts on your phone or the emails that are scam emails and you're not supposed to hit the link because they'll take everything? America has clicked the link that Donald Trump and his family sent out. We've clicked the link, and they are now just funneling money into their own pockets. Melania Trump is in on it. She's just got some sort of a deal to do a documentary. Again, it's for Amazon. Amazon seems to be in a lot of the news. She's got paid like $30 or $40 million for her documentary. Even Melania Trump is making millions and millions of dollars off of this big grift. Who wants to see a documentary about Melania Trump? 20-minute documentary, YouTube, basically shows how she came here, and then Donald, was like, you're a hot woman I like, let's go. And here they are years later. By the way, she's an immigrant. And I think it was Zoran or no, it was Mehdi Hassan at the No Kings rally who said Melania Trump proves that once again immigrants are willing to take the jobs that citizens aren't, meaning being with Donald Trump. Oh, gosh. So don't fall for it. Don't listen to Scott Jennings. Prices are up. Be angry. Be upset. Go to the polls. Make sure to vote. Make sure to let your Congress people, your senators, all those people know that you don't stand for this. You did not vote for this. We did not vote for this increase in costs. We did not vote for the rich getting richer. It's become very much like the let them eat cake moment in France. You saw with this government shutdown happening and people not working and not getting paid, Donald Trump decided to have a great Gatsby party for his Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago. So they are totally oblivious. They're totally out of it. Scott Bessent is his Secretary of Treasury. He's another multimillionaire, totally out of it. They are totally disconnected from reality. And I think Scott Jennings is disconnected from reality because he claims the prices have not gone up. But you and I both know they have. Guys, I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a channel right here on YouTube. It's at Maz Jobrani. Give it a follow. Also, I'm touring all over the country doing live stand-up comedy. Come out, let's have a laugh. I know prices are up, but laughter's needed. So come join me. Bye.